I'm Jan, and I'm the product manager in KUBO Robotics. I have been here a few years, actually back when we launched the first product. So I should know a lot about KUBO, and hopefully I can tell you a lot about the solution. So let's see.
Yes. And I'm Trine. I'm the digital marketing executive here. I've been with KUBO for around a year and a half, doing all the online marketing, been out to fairs, just showcasing KUBO. Yeah, I think Jan is gonna start.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do that. And hey to people in Slovenia also. So nice to see so many different countries. So yeah, we're just gonna start out just telling you a bit about what the KUBO solution is. So the KUBO solution, or the KUBO robot, maybe we can just, yes. So the KUBO solution is a solution that can help kids down to 4 years actually get a basic understanding of the coding principles. It's a simple and intuitive tool that is very easy for the kids to handle. So the first thing the kids actually does is just attaching the head on the robot. It turns and they just begin. And one of our qualities is also to make it easy adaptable for the teachers. So that's also something we use a lot of time ensuring in the KUBO solution. So what we build on is a unique hands-on tactile system, which is our programming system. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. It's actually puzzle pieces we put together, but you will see that. It's a screen-free product, so you don't have any tablets, you don't have any need of a phone, you don't have any direct software updates that you need to worry about in the beginning of your class. So, and as I said, the KUBO solution is suitable for kids down to 4 years, and with the launch of our new add-on, it's actually a 10+ product also. So let's go to next slide. Yes. So why we do this is actually to empower the children to take control of the digital environment they actually engage in. And it's very important for us to start out teaching the kids very young, so they have a good basic understanding when they meet the first software and they meet the first social media and places they can interact online and with code. It's also to prepare the kids for a new literacy that is universal. You speak it globally, and in the future everybody is going to know something about coding. It's not that we are going to be engineers, all of us, but it's very important that we know something about software and how it's built and how it works. One thing is that we are in control and the robots are not going to get us. So then we built, of course, on computational thinking. It's all about the algorithmic thinking, logical thinking, problem solving, breaking problems down into bits so it's easier to solve. So it's the way of thinking when you actually do something. It's not only relatable to coding, but actually every problem you or every situation you meet in your day, in your daily life. And lastly, of course, it's a solution that helps the kids think more innovatively, and we use a lot of time on that. So create stuff be the creator and not just the user of different software. So the next slide is just going to tell you a bit about what the KUBO solution is. So I'm going to talk a lot about all of this stuff, but the first thing is, of course, we have a set of products. So we have a coding set, we have a coding plus set, which is an add-on. We have a coding plus set, which is the next add-on, and I'm going to show all of these just in a bit. We have a lot of curriculum online that is free to download and print out. We have training materials for the teachers. We have a lot of video tutorials for each pack we launch. We have quick start guides. We have online demos and these webinars. We have teacher guides for each curriculum and blogs. And again, support. We have live online chat, email support, FAQs, whatever you need to get started. So this is just a small teaser of what the whole KUBO solution actually is. It's not just a product that you buy and then use once. So let's go to the more hands-on stuff. I'll switch cameras.
There we go.
So this is our KUBO Coding Solution, and that's our core set. So as you can see, 4+, which means the youngest kids can actually engage with this product. So when we open this product, we have inside, we have a map, which you can also see on the table. Together. Then we have a complete overview of the product. So here we have a robot, you have a body, you have a head, you have movement tactiles, which is the tactiles you use all the way through the coding system. And you have your function tactiles, and I'm going to show you in a minute how it's used. And we have our loop tactiles, so start loop, end loop.
So just a second, they say the view is mirrored, so you have to turn it around. Let's just switch it around. So we have to turn it around, right, guys? Yes, and Jimmy? Turn it 180. Is this better?
This how?
Better? Let's see. Okay, that way.
That way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna
Sorry, guys.
gonna be more confusing for me, but that's okay. That's fine.
Thank you.
So this is the core set. You have your loop tiles, your parameters. Also, you have a normal micro USB to charge your KUBO. Just from the top here, you can actually use the charger here. So this is the KUBO core set, and I'm going to show you like the concepts, the coding concepts you can actually build with the core set right now. And of course, we have to mirror this also.
Yeah.
Yes, just to make it.
You just explain what you're doing again, because I had a bunch of people jumping in.
Okay, so right now I'm showing the key concepts of the KUBO core set, which is
there we go.
Is this one. So the very first step, we use these tiles. It's the tactiles. This are the movement tactiles, and when you put your head on KUBO, it starts up, and the movement tactiles are actually just telling KUBO a command, and KUBO will react to that command. So the first thing you can do is build your root, which is basically just tactiles you put together, and then you have a route for KUBO to follow. I'm just quickly going to build something here. So we have a campfire, and we want KUBO to go around the campfire. So we build our puzzle tiles together. So now I want KUBO to follow this route. And simply we just put KUBO on the tactiles, and KUBO will follow the route all the way around. So this is the basic step, and kids down in age 4 can easily begin to snap these tactiles together, and without much information for you guys, they will actually use these tiles and KUBO pretty quickly out of the box. And already here you have something that is very fun for the kids to play with. So it could be find your way from the car to the library, on the school, or something else. Of course, we have a full curriculum for this, and I will show you on the website later where you find this. So the next step is introducing these function tiles. So a function tile is actually like when you write a code, you normally have brackets around your code. So here you start with a function tile and you end with a function tile. The special thing about functions is that you have to put your root in a straight line for KUBO to read it. So like this. See if I can snap them all together. So you put all your commands in one straight line. And right here you're actually writing your first code, even though you are just snapping puzzle tiles to go. And here we want it to go out again. So let's see if we can get KUBO to follow the same path as before. So when KUBO hits the first function tile, it will begin recording all the commands. So instead of reacting to the tactiles, it will now record all the tactiles.
Okay, so we have one question here that you can answer. Yeah, and that is, what is the difference between KUBO and BBOT?
Yeah, so BBOT is this little B robot where you use the buttons on the robot to actually put in commands in the robot, and then it's going to follow these commands.
Yeah.
But one thing is that you can't follow these commands after. Here you can actually see your code, what you code KUBO to do. Mm-hmm. Another thing is that you have a limited set of concepts you can actually use with BBOT. So BBOT would be something you could easily use before you use KUBO, or in the beginning together with KUBO, and then KUBO will take the next concepts. So that's basically the difference. We use a whole other system that you can actually use when you go to drag and drop programming later on, because you will use some of the same syntax. So now we'll program KUBO to do this. We will just see if... Oh, so I started a bit too early. We just take the head off, put it on again. KUBO will restart. Put the tactile on the right place. And KUBO will now do the commands that I have programmed it to do. Let's see if we...
How many instructions will KUBO memorize?
KUBO will memorize a lot of instructions, more than you can imagine using. So that's not a limit at all. So that's not a problem and something that you have to think so much about. Mm-hmm. The kids will not be able to run KUBO dry of commands. Okay. So you can see KUBO follows the code we have made. So the next step is including loops, and I'm just going to do this because it's mirrored. So here you have a start loop, and in this you can put a parameter, and you're gonna end your loop again, and you can put your commands in between. So the loop is a way to actually optimize your code. So in here you look at what code sequences that are repeating itself, and then you can optimize your code. So right here I can see there is a pattern that are actually repeating itself a few times. So what we can do is take these two, because they are repeating themselves pretty often. So you put these two into here, and you want to define that you want to loop these 3 times. And we're gonna take these away, because that's now commands you don't need. Put your loop into your function. So this is really a next step in complexity, because you learn to optimize your code. So right here you can see your new code with a loop inside. Let's see if it works like we want it to. So always remember to begin with the start loop tile, put in your parameter, your commands, and you want to end the loop again, so KUBO knows what commands to repeat. KUBO are done reading all the tactiles, and we will try to do this again. See if it works. So now it's good. Oh, bravo. It worked. So as you can see, you go from something where you just use your movement tiles, something very easy, to something a bit more advanced with the function tiles. And then you build on the functions by using the loops. And the next thing I'm going to show you are the subroutines. So a subroutine actually means that you have 2 or more functions that you embed into each other. So in your core set, you have 2 sets of functions. You have the blue set and you have the red set. So the blue set is remembered in the blue play tile, and the red is remembered in the red play tile. So now I'm going to build on our code we've used here. So what we can actually do is take some from this code. So I want to take the loop and put it into another code. So for KUBO to remember this, we have to run the code again. So when KUBO have remembered this command into the red function, we can now embed the red function into the blue function. And this is a subroutine. So as you can see here, the blue function would be go forward, go left, run the red function, go right, and go left again. So now we want to make KUBO remember this subroutine. Now KUBO remembers this in the blue one, and KUBO needs to know what the red function is, so we are going to code the red function. Good. So when I put KUBO on the blue play tile, we now execute the blue function where the red function is embedded. It's the same code, we just broke it into 2. It could be another code where you say, okay, the first step is to go from the library to the playground, and then you want to, from the playground, take the bus home. So you could break your story up into 2 different codes that you put together. So let's see if we can make KUBO do the same route again in another way. Seems to work. And right now you have just done a subroutine, which is something that is very complex actually to learn in coding when you learn to code later on in text coding. But right here you can see that all is still hands-on. It's still just puzzle tiles you put together. You have a few rules that you need to follow, but otherwise it's actually just a step up in complexity when the kids are ready for it. So this is what you learned with the core set. You have these different concepts you go through. Online we have our curriculum following each complexity step: roots, functions, loops, subroutines, and it's all based on storytelling. So you have this school map where you have different tasks to do. So let's just have KUBO. I'll take the tactiles away.
I'm gonna ask you a question then. Yeah. We have a question saying, is KUBO like a KUBO evolution?
So KUBO is also another product that are great for introducing very basic commands to kids that can evolve into coding, I would say. So again, you have basically the same a bit more concepts than the debug, but you have a board on the side where you program. And for some kids it may be intuitive, for some kids it may not be intuitive how to use that board. But this board is gonna transfer something to a robot that is gonna do something on a map. And that's another way to code. They use another coding language, but there can be an extra abstraction level here where you use Bluetooth from one board to a robot. And that's something we try to eliminate, because we have the tactiles and KUBO interact with each other directly, and you can follow the steps as KUBO go. So you can say that KUBO is a KUBO evolution. I would say that we are pretty different, and we have a lot more concepts to build on. But still, of course, you have some good both debug and KUBO to play with before you actually go to coding. And still, we have our advantage is that we use syntax that you can use later on. So you have a good progression when you go to a drag and drop programming language like Scratch or something like that.
Yeah. And can you tell what the battery capacity is for KUBO?
Yeah. So you charge it for 2 hours, and it will run for 4 hours. Of course, it depends on the usage, but if it's just gonna stand, so the usage is normally based on you get a task, you have to work a lot with the tactiles, with the functions and stuff like that. So a lot of the time you are actually building something where KUBO is just looking at you and what you're doing. And then you're gonna use KUBO. So if it's just gonna be standby, it can be standby for a day or maybe 2, because it really doesn't use that much battery. It's the motors that use much more battery. If you run continuously just with the motors, it's a few hours you can use it, but it's not realistic. We have feedback saying that teachers are normally going a whole school day without charging their KUBO, because of the usage is not just using KUBO on the tactiles.
Okay.
So yeah.
So when we move on to Coding Plus and Coding Plus Plus, just show the different functions you can use with KUBO, and then also how to change the speed of KUBO. 2 questions in here.
Two questions. So, yeah. Okay, let's just go to the first add-on we launched. The first add-on we launched was Coding Plus. Just remember, it's new.
Yeah.
Coding Plus. It's still a 4+ product. It's a box with tactiles, and you don't need any software update to use the Coding Plus box. It's just out of the box use. So in here you have a lot of new behaviors. So you have time, so you have delays where you can delay 2, 5, or 10 seconds. You have speed settings where you can set KUBO to slow, medium, and high. You have go backwards. You have U-turn. You have multiple forwards in one tile. You have 2 forward, 3 forward, 4 forward. You have your basic angles, so you have 90 degrees left, right, and 180 degrees left, right. And then we have put in 2 new functions. So you have, together with the core set, you have 4 functions that you can embed into each other. So when we talk about the Coding Plus, it's not bringing so many new coding concepts into the programming solution, but it's giving you a lot more behavior to actually use. So using the dimensions like time and speed can make some pretty fun tasks. So one of the questions are how to set speed.
Yes. Can you set the speed of KUBO or change the speed of KUBO?
You can. So these 3 tiles is slow, medium, and high speed. So slow is very slow, medium is the normal speed of KUBO, and high speed is the highest speed that KUBO can actually go. So these speed tiles can be used in groups also. You can see there is a green arrow on it, so it's going to go 1 forward after you set the speed. So right here you can put it to fast, and it will go fast. You can also see the slow is very slow. And you can embed these into your routes and in your functions and whatever concepts you have. So
can you just show them how to charge KUBO? Show them the wire.
Yeah. So let's do it. So in your core set, you have a charger cable, and this charge cable, you need to take the head off KUBO, and then you can plug the charger into KUBO. And this is just a normal USB, so you could charge it in one of our multiple chargers, or you can charge it in your computer or normal charger you would use for your phone. So that's pretty easy. When you have put this into a charging station or something, you can see that there's coming a little red light, which means it's not fully
charged?
Yeah, fully charged. But when it changed to green, it's fully charged. So yes, that's basically how you charge your KUBO. So this is the Coding Plus set. The vision behind this is actually to give the kids more behaviors to use in stories, to do more fun tasks. You can use go backwards to use like move the box tasks or something like that. You can also do the basic angles and get an understanding of that. So if you remember in the core set, you have the right and left tile. I hope you can see this. So because we use that in the root, it will always go one forward when you use it. But these angle tiles will not go one forward afterwards. So it will turn, but it will keep turning because KUBO will read the tile again. So these are only meant for using in a function where you don't need the extra step. Yes, so this is the Coding Plus set. The Coding Plus set, we have 3 lesson plans online also. I'm going to show you where in a moment. So these lesson plans are built on 2 new maps. You have a gym map and you have a library map you can use. So you have a bunch of new stories and a bunch of new like setups you can use with KUBO. So you can use this package to practice a lot on the concepts in the core set. You can do more advanced subroutines and functions and practice this. So that's the Coding Plus box. Let's take this away. And we have just introduced the new Coding Plus set. And this is more advanced. We say that we have built this product to launch the last essential concepts of programming. So it's still hands-on, but we use a lot of more complex coding concepts. It's a 7+ product. If you are just loaded with the core set and the plus set, and you are just going mad with coding, you can maybe use it before. If you haven't used coding at all and you're over 7, of course it would be higher. But this is a recommended age, of course. You know your students better, so of course you know when to go to the next step.
Okay, before you show them the product, I'm just gonna have 2 questions answered.
Yep.
Can you just tell them what the tactiles are made of? Can you show them a tactile?
So the tactile here is the point in the tactile is that you have a surface where you see the symbol, so the kids can actually relate to it. You have a chip inside the tactile that the kids can actually see and ask questions to. So you have the more soft element, and you have the more technical element. So it's made of PVC, and we have a silicone layer underneath, so it's not gonna slide when you have it on the table. And it's gonna stick perfectly together, and it's easy to assemble.
Okay, and then we have a question saying, according to the different age group of students, you have different curriculum.
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you that. So for every package we have a different curriculum that is fitted to the difficulty level of the package. And also in the package you have a different like progression. So in the core set, as we just talked about, you have the roots, which is very basic, and you have your subroutines, which is more advanced. And of course, the curriculum will support that. Yes. So I'm just gonna go quickly through the Coding Plus set. Let's take some of the questions later if we can do that. So the Coding Plus set is giving us some variables and a modulator and a lot of operators. So a variable is basically a tactile with a number. So you know the parameters we have in the core set that is strictly the number that it's coded to. These variables are changeable, so you can actually manipulate them. You have a 0, and the reason why we have the variable is that we have in this box we have if statements and conditions. So here you work with if statements, you work with events, And when you have an event you code, you also have an event on the map that you can put on the map, so you can actually trigger KUBO on the map. So for instance, if you meet a star, then go right. If you don't meet a star, then go left or go forward or something like that. Also in here we have degrees, so you have 15 degrees left and right, and you can set these degrees to a number, so you can use your parameter or you can use your variable, so it could be 10 times 15 degrees. You can also choose your speed in another way, so you can go from 1 or actually 0 to 10, but 0 would be just standing still. So from 0 to 10, and you could say, if you meet a star, add 1 to the variable. So every time you meet a star, you would go 1 up in speed. Also in this box, you have the random tiles. So if you use these random tiles and you put commands in between, KUBO will randomly pick one of the commands. So you have a chance to actually work with the probability in your coding also. So this is the key concepts of the Coding++. And for the Coding++, we also have a curriculum that guides you through this, and also a project pack, which we're going to talk about in a minute. That's the Coding++. So this would be the full KUBO solution for now.
Okay, we're going to move on to the website. So I'm just going to change the screen, and then we will show you, Marla, we're going to answer your question after this, but it will be answered.
Yeah.
Just going to change the screens real fast, so we can show you the website. Sure. Okay.
Time flies.
Yeah.
So on the website, kubo.education, you have all our free material. So if you remember the first solution slide I showed you, we have much more than just the hardware and the product you've just seen. So the first step is the getting started, where you find your video tutorials, your quick start guides, and some questions and answers. Let's take the video tutorials first. So it's really here where the teachers get prepared to actually use KUBO. So in here you can see for KUBO Coding, the core set, you have a lot of different videos that are showing the different concepts I just went through. So you have your what's in the box, you have your roots, you have your functions, subroutines, loops, and also recursive function. For the Coding Plus, you have exactly the same. Here we're just showing you actually the same concepts, because the Coding Plus is just adding on to the concepts from the core set. So you have advanced roots with more behaviors, you have advanced functions, advanced subroutines, and right here you can actually see the advanced subroutines, how advanced it can get. So you go from something very easy to something that is going to be just already here pretty complex. But because it's hands-on, it's easy for the kids actually to handle. So the Coding++, and we have to accept that the Coding++ will move into new coding concepts, so they will be more complex to learn how to use. But for each concept and for counting and for everything that we have felt a need to explain you, we have made a video that are explaining everything that KUBO does with the Coding++ set. So it's counting variables, turn with parameters, what happens if the turn is using a variable that is negative and positive and stuff like that. Also, how to use speed in a parameter, how to use a condition with a check. Also, the events condition with the events, the if statement, and also the random. And it's videos that are more or less language neutral, so it's pretty easy to follow. And if you have your KUBO solution just in front of you, it would be so fantastic for you actually to do what is done in the video, so you can follow the steps. That's the video tutorials. The next thing is the quick start guide, and the quick start guide is for some people the first thing they see. We have the quick start guide in different languages and also for each product. So here you can see all the different languages we have. Yes. And they are easy just to download, and they are easy to print out also. So you can have them in front of you and also in class if you would like to do that.
We're just going to show you an example of a quick start guide. So I'm going to change the screen once again. So give me a second. Oh, that was the wrong one, sorry. Give me a second again. There we go. Make sure, okay.
Good. So here you see the quick start guide for coding. And it's basically what I also went through. So you have all the different, what's in the box. You have the battery information. You have what is about KUBO's lights. So you have different information about the lights. So you know the blue is when it's just standby, you know the green is executing, stuff like that. So what's in the box, and explaining all the tactiles, and later on we also explain how you use all the tactiles. And that's basically what we explained in the quick start guide, so you can actually quickly go in and see how you use the product. And if you just forgot how one thing worked out, then you could just check up on it. Then we have something about coding, and I also think we have small places where we actually say, oh, this could be a mistake you do. Please use this syntax correctly. And then we have, of course, have a little information about the KUBO education. Yes. So that's the quick start guide, and that quick start guide is made for each product, and most likely also in your language. Let's go back to the website.
Back to the website again.
Yes. So we're not going to show as such the Q&A. It's just a list actually of questions, and we answer those questions. Let's take the questions afterwards. So then you have the classroom activities. Here you have lesson plans. So it's in here you find your curriculum. Again, the curriculum is in multiple languages. And also it's for all the different products. So you can just choose, let's just choose English. So
English today.
Most of us can follow it. And then you can see here you have KUBO Coding. Further down you have KUBO Coding Plus, and you have Coding Plus Plus also. So let's just take the first one, explaining roots. In here you can find a slideshow, which is actually the tasks or the activities that you give the kids. And further down you will see a set of download materials. So you have a teacher's guide, which we're going to show you just in a minute. You have different worksheets that you can print out to your kids. You have a diploma, and you also have curriculum standards in US standards and UK standards. So you have something to refer to and see how it fits into your curriculum standards and your teaching. Yes, should we just show
Show this one. See if it jumps on. So I'm just gonna change the screen again. So bear with me.
So this is the slideshow you see where you actually have the activities. Here you can see you have outcomes, you have overviews, you have all the activities built in a good structure. You can see what you have to use, and then you have all your tasks. So they are pretty easy to follow and to use with your kids. It's just for each like concept or each lesson plan. So in the coding, you have roots, functions, subroutines, and loops you can go through. Yeah.
And we do see your questions. We're going to answer them in the end, so they will be answered. Let's show you one of the teacher guides as well, so you can see what they look like.
Yeah.
So here's a teacher guide.
Yeah, so it's easy to adapt, and for each, also for the teacher, and for each lesson plan we have made a teacher guide document, so you can see how long is the activity is going to run for, what do you have to prepare, what are the cross-curriculum connections, how do you have to run your lesson, and all that stuff. So it's pretty pinned out for each activity, how you can go through and what you can discuss with your kids. You can also take some notes. So we have tried to make it so easy for the teachers. Some teachers will use a lot of these materials, and some will use less of them, and maybe just the video tutorials. Yes, but let's just quickly take the last things online. So we have a section also on the web page where you can see we have something called more great ideas. And we're not really going to go so much into deep with these, but it's extra inspirational activities that you can use that has a cross-curriculum focus. So here you can see if you want to work with social studies, you want to work with ELA and arts, or you want to work with science, math. There are also mini project packs. Inside of these inspirational activities, you can have different stuff. You can have a map. There's also costumes that you can print out, cut out, and then put on your KUBO. You can see, right, just go a bit down here, the KUBO Global Citizen. You have one of the costumes right there that is included in the download package. So that's just quickly on the more great ideas. Let's go to the map maker. So the map maker is basically a way for us to give you as teachers a way to use KUBO more in your current curriculum and the subjects that you are using. So let's just go into to shared maps. See, so in here you have a lot of maps already made from other teachers that they share with you guys. So if you go into, just go a bit further, I like this one with the shapes and positions. So if you preview that, you can see that a teacher has been in here, made a map and want to work with shapes and positions of these shapes. And the teacher want to work with it in math, language, and coding, and in different grades. You can print out this PDF, or you can actually go in and do your own maps. So if you go back to the My Maps, so in My Maps, you have to create a login, and then you go into your own maps. You can create a map by pushing create a map. And you have a drag and drop system where you can drag in your own images from the right side. It's pretty easy. You can put in a background and stuff like that, and just a bit further down on the page, you can write a description. You can write a task for other teachers or for the kids who have background. So it's pretty easy to quickly do your own map. You can print it out in A3, A4. Whatever fits you. So that's the map maker, and it's really made for us to say, okay, do you work with numbers? Do you work with letters? Do you work with shapes? Do you work with do you want to create your own story? Then do your own map and print it out. A little description also. Test. And then you can save it. You can choose your grades. High level. Yes. Choose something.
Social studies.
Yes, and then you can just save it in your own maps, or you can publish it for other people to actually see it also. It has been saved, and now you can print it, or you can go back to your own overview. So that's really easy to do, and an easy way for you to actually incorporate and use KUBO more by using it in different subjects. It could be animals or whatever you are actually using. Yes, I think that's actually the last thing I wanted just quickly to go through. So maybe we should. Yes, let's take the camera to us.
And then we can answer some of the questions you guys have been asking. So I'm just going to scroll up.
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions. So let's do.
How does KUBO understand variables? So you program a variable just like you do a function. So you program a function, start with the brackets, and then you put in the variable and an equal sign and then a number. And then you have actually made KUBO remember your variable. And then you can use that variable in your code to change it, add something, subtract something, check if it's higher than something or less than something. I would recommend that you go into the video tutorials just to see a bit more about the variables and understand it correctly. Yeah.
Then we have this one.
What are the errors occur in these electrical devices? So for the when we launched the Coding++ product, you actually have to the first KUBOs we have out. You actually have to update your robot. We have a My KUBO app you can go in and use, and then you can update your robot. So if you have a problem with your robot, you shouldn't have that, and we don't experience that much. But if you have, then you can update your robot and then refresh your software in the robot. Otherwise, there's no really errors. There's no electrical device in the tactiles and stuff like that. So, so that's pretty much it. Yeah. So are the tactile dangerous for small kids? So we have a small part warning on our coding course set and our Coding++ set, because we have the event tiles and the parameters tiles are I won't say pretty small, but they are smaller. So there is officially there is a requirement for us to put on a choking hazard. We haven't experienced anything, and it's not. They are not that small that it's easy for them to actually eat them. It's not. They're pretty. I would say pretty durable, so you cannot break them.
Can't really break them.
They are washable, so that's not a problem either. Even the small tips will not break off. It's even hard to actually cut with a scissor.
Yeah.
So they are pretty durable. You can actually buy spare tactiles at your local reseller in your country. If they don't have spare parts and spare tiles, please ask them to contact us, and we'll make sure that they can get them.
And then we have a few questions about how KUBO reads the tactiles.
Yeah.
If it's a sensor, if it's AI. So show them that.
KUBO, inside of KUBO, down here somewhere, you have a RFID scanner, and inside the tactile you have an RFID chip.
You can see it right here. It's a little chip in there.
So the kids always like just to talk a bit about these technical stuff, but it's pretty easy that there's something in KUBO that reads the tactile, and there's something in the tactile that can do it. So in here there's a little code that KUBO reads and reacts on when it comes. Now it has to be on the table because there's a lift detector on the robot, but if you can see it here, it reads the tactile just quickly, and that's also actually possible to put your tactiles in different directions and talk about directions with your students.
Then I think the last question we have is about the maps.
Yeah.
So we do have printable blank maps as well, so the kids can draw on the maps. So they can make maps themselves without using the map maker if they want to. Some teachers, they use it for tinkering activities. So they create little, could be obstacles, or they just make kids draw on the blank maps to create their own universe that way.
Yeah, it could be also you use three-dimensional objects on the map. You could use a cup, put it in, and then it's a tower, or you can use different match boxes or stuff to make small objects for people to run around. Yeah, so that's the blank map is also printable online in the same place where you find all the worksheets for the curriculum and stuff like that. And for the course set, we have the school map that you saw that is in the box, and then for the Coding Plus, we have the maps that I showed before. You have the gym map, and you have a library map that is printable also on the website. For the Coding Plus, we don't have any new maps. We use the blank map a lot because it reinforces the creativity also. We also have, for the Coding Plus, I just want to mention this, we have a project pack where you can work several hours over several weeks, so you can use 3 days in a row or whatever. You don't have to have the Coding Plus to actually use this project pack. You can also use it with whatever you have. It's about researching, it's about doing a presentation, it's about doing code, it's about making a map. All these things we want to reinforce using KUBO, and then you can build your own project there. Yeah. Some very nice comments. Yes. Some nice product. Surprised about the complexity it can address. Yes, we actually try to set a very low floor for the kids to begin, and also the teachers to begin using it, and then we try to hit like a high ceiling for the kids that are really engaged and just are fantastic at having this logic already and can understand most of the concepts just by seeing them. So we want actually to engage kids early. 4 years, we want to engage both the boys and girls, and we want to engage all kids, even though they are not understanding the complexity that quick, and then you can begin with some of the more easy stuff. So it's also easy for you as a teacher to actually differentiate inside your classes. Yes.
I think.
Yeah, so the tactiles are made of silicon and PVC. It's, of course, it's certified and all that stuff. So no no things that are not allowed in those tactiles. We use a lot of energy on that.
Yeah. I think we spent all the time we had with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you
I think over the next few weeks, we will hopefully have more of these webinars, and we will maybe also differentiate a bit in the topics.
Yeah.
So please look out for more webinars.
And let us know if there are any specific topics you would like us to cover in a webinar like this.
Yeah.
And we will try to do so. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being so engaging in the chat as well. That's really nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.